Welcome to Gimcrack Video. How may I help you?
Hey, what's going on, man? You got anything new to watch?
No, but we are running a special on sequels.
Is that over there on that shelf that says that it's not for human consumption?
No, on the one right next to it, it says 3 for $1.
Well, let's just grab some. What could go wrong?
Enjoy your selection.
Yeah, you kind of sound out of it right now.
Do I?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little tired.
Tired, depressed.
Yeah. Why? What happened, Patrick?
Yeah, you know, America ended. Yeah, we're gonna have to start heavy. I mean, we have to talk about it. We can't not talk about it.
Yeah.
This is the first episode we've recorded since the VMAs named Katy Perry's Roar the most iconic performance of all time. How, in the year of our Lord Chapel Roan, is the most iconic performance Katy Perry's fucking Roar when the fan catch from Madonna's Vogue is right goddamn there? This is my most heterosexual opinion since saying that the best Rena Sweeney was played by Patti LuPone.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that.
You sound like a Sutton Foster apologist.
No. I mean, I wouldn't agree with that being your most heterosexual statement.
I'm bearing the lead. I'm trying to distract us. The really bad news is John Krasinski was named the sexiest man of the year. Well,
you know, he's not a bad looking fella. I mean,
I've been arguing this all day. A lot of people don't see it my way.
I mean, I don't know if he's the sexiest man, but
he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, the ears really just kind of ruined it all.
Oh, and also we elected a fascist, so there's that. But the main thing,
yeah. But John Krasinski,
the main thing, yeah. What a hell of a year, Dustin.
It has been quite the year, Patrick, and we've tried to make our way through it via comedy and laughing and watching some pretty amazing movies.
Yeah, amazing is a word.
It is a word.
I don't necessarily know it's the word that I would use. Perplexing, mystifying.
But we did watch movies.
We did watch, well, we watched content, some of which might be accused of being movies.
Yeah, I think some of them even had scripts. So
a few, one or two, but not all of them.
No.
And the ones that didn't are not improv masterpieces. They just shot without them, I don't think.
Yeah.
They certainly shot without shooting scripts, because you can't convince me that Death Toilet had a shooting script.
I think Death Toilet had like 5 lines written on a napkin. And they just ad-libbed the rest of it.
It'd be funny if we looked, if actually there was meticulous storyboards of like really detailed drawings of the death toilet and the virgin piss.
God, I got to find the storyboards I did for the 2 Cups, 1 Girl.
I don't know that we need those.
I mean, they were, well,
I saw the video.
Yeah, they weren't as much storyboards as they were the original film, just screen caps of it.
Yeah, no, you don't need that. You most certainly don't need that. Although, to be fair, none of that was real either. So you and the original artist just really going to town with the special effects.
Absolutely. Oh boy. So
talking about scat fetishes, let's talk about these movies.
Welcome to the Found on Shelf podcast. I'm sure you guys know who we are because you clicked on it to listen to us. So
we're the Joe Rogan of the left.
Why? How high are you right now?
Not high enough.
No, apparently not. Yeah, I am Dustin, and that's Patrick, and yeah, this is kind of our little year-end wrap-up we're doing here. So we're not going to talk about a particular movie right now, but we're going to kind of talk about all of our movies that we covered.
Which are what, 30?
Yeah, we did quite a few movies, and this was our very special. And it's hilarious because I'm watching you move down the list, counting how many there were. 72, 24, 37.
25.
Damn it. 25 plus the I didn't put the Christmas with Cookie interview that we did on there because that was not that was kind of a movie, but it was more of an interview. So we're good. So yeah, we had Alan back on. He's always a pleasure, and
hopefully he'll come back after we reviewed Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. This season, we decided to do a couple of things. The first thing was we took a break from bits.
Yeah, we took about 5 episodes.
We took a break from bits.
We brought bits back because it's better with bits.
Yes, everything's better with bits. And then
your bits, my bits.
Just throw a bunch of bits together and see what happens.
Forget the cable, just the bits.
Jesus Christ. You just make a joke about an 80s commercial? How old is that damn commercial?
Old enough that I remember it.
So this was your brainchild, was to only cover part 3 movies this year.
Right, because I'm insane and shouldn't be trusted to make decisions.
Yeah, so how do you think that worked out?
Honestly, I thought the episodes were pretty good.
I think
it wasn't as hard as we thought because actually we left a ton of movies on the cutting room floor. We could conceivably do an entire second year of just doing 3 movies and still not break a sweat.
Well, the problem is a lot of them were just boring as all hell.
That's
I don't
true.
know how we would talk about them.
In terms of franchises, there does seem to be kind of like a critical mass thing where one could call it diminishing returns, but what happens is either the franchise starts to exaggerate upon itself to the point of parody, so Flanderization, if I can say a word tonight, but the Leprechaun movies or Child's Play, right? Usually get more fun with time, and the other just the quality drops over time, and so those are say your Hellraisers, but then there's another version of that where they just kind of run out ideas but just keep going, and that's things like Angel. So you get like a mix of is it going to be boring or bad or fun? You don't fucking know. You roll the dice. Maybe you get a weird men's rights argument in the form of a Killer Baby Island.
Yeah,
without it being about killer babies, turns out it's about dudes who hate women. Weird.
Oh, I thought we were done talking about the election. Oh, king of segues.
You do need to hold on to that for the entirety of next year. Just bring king of segues.
Yeah, I feel like part 3 is where franchises go to die. Like if they can make it past part 3, then they can probably do okay. They can come back around eventually, but it seems like part 3 is the stopping point of a lot of these franchises, and they just cannot make their way past it.
So Josh Kirby went past part 3. How do you think that worked out?
Well, Josh Kirby
him?
also wrote they did 6 movies and they filmed them all within 2 months. So they didn't really have a chance to fail.
And they were essentially TV episodes. I think Ninja 3: The Domination was a nice high watermark, and it's a shame there weren't more ninja movies after that.
This is true. Ninja 3 was a pleasant surprise. I've got the list here of all the movies that we did.
You want to read them out?
Oh sure. I'll read. Ooh, this will be fun. I'll read your picks, and then you can read my picks.
Oh, okay.
We had FP3 to start the year off.
Bunch of 365s, yo.
A whole bunch, which I after this episode, I'm gonna have to retire.
Prepare to beat off.
I know it's served you well these long 365 days.
Yes. I'm honestly, I have to say, I think that I was a little too harsh on that movie.
Yeah, I do feel bad about that one, to be honest with you. If there's any of the movies that I feel bad about, it is the FP3.
Yeah. I kind of went back and looked at a little bit of it and actually talked to Jason a little bit. J-Tro.
And I do feel like maybe we owe J-Tro a little bit of an apology on that one.
Yeah. And, I'm like, given the constraints that he had when making that film and what he had to do to get it done, I'm like, okay, all right, a little too harsh on it. But that movie did come out, and I think they have a fourth one of those out too. And I don't know if he's gonna make any more or anything, but going on and doing his thing, and good for him. So going down the list, you have FP3, or I'm sorry, the FP3, Ninja 3. Mm-hmm. Apocalypse 3. That was your religious choice.
Yeah. We do a mandatory Christian movie every year. Because I like to share my trauma. Invariably, the movies are funny on some level.
Mm-hmm.
This level was funny just for having Gary Busey involved.
He is something else. And then we had Angel 3,
Mhm.
which I finally got around to dipping my toes into the Angel franchise, and I got to go back and watch the other two.
Yeah, because the other two are good. Well, the first one is fantastic. The second one is insane. You should watch them both.
And we had Sleepaway Camp 3.
See, I'm a big Sleepaway Camp fan. I know not everyone is. There are reasons, but Sleepaway Camp 3, I think is super fun.
It is fun. It's what it is. It's really just it's out there, but it's fun. Speaking of out there, we also had Basket Case 3, Dinosaur Hotel 3.
Yeah, that one was, I'd say, what do you say, my second worst pick?
It was, it was pretty bad, but it was pretty bad. I'm trying to think of redeeming qualities. I'm like, Tyrannosaurus jumping through the hotel roof.
It was fun to watch parts of it. I laughed. Yeah. I didn't think it ultimately wasn't as fun as I thought it would be, which is a shame, but it is usually the case for a lot of these movies, specifically the ones that show up on Prime.
It had potential, and a lot of these have potential. Some of them can make it, some of them not so much. Let's see what else we have. You brought me into the world of Coffin Joe. Very questionable choice.
That was my worst pick.
I think so.
Yeah, if okay, so I'm into, if there's a movie I feel bad for picking, it's Coffin Joe 3, and I don't advise anyone ever watch it.
Yeah, the embodiment of evil. That's what that one was called, right?
It kind of was, to be frank.
It lived up to its name. You gotta give it that.
You do not, under any circumstances, gotta hand it to Coffin Joe.
It was a semi-problematic movie. Okay,
it was a very problematic movie.
Yes, it was.
The problem with Coffin Joe is the aesthetic is on point, and everything else is a nightmare spiral.
Yeah, very true. Well, you told me we were going to watch a movie about jumping vampires, but there was no jumping vampires. But it was still, there wasn't even really vampires. There was ghosts, but it was Mr. Vampire 3.
Yes, Hong Kong classic Mr. Vampire 3.
All right. Then we saw, we did a little double header with Zombie 3 and 4 because who really knows which one was part 3, so we just did them both.
Or which one is Zombie or who made them.
Yeah.
I love Italian horror movies so much.
3 was weird. 4 was just a waste.
That was awful. Yeah, that movie was terrible.
Then we had Zombies 3.
The Disney musical.
The Disney musical ensemble.
Which I enjoyed. I thought I was going to hate it.
Zog, zig, zog, ziggy, ziggy, zog, zog.
I'm going to still watch into getting around to watching the rest of them.
Yeah, you do that. Don't make me do that, but you do that. And then you cursed us with a visit from Satan by choosing to watch Day of the Beast.
Which is not a third film.
No. Why did you choose that film?
We needed a Christmas movie. There are options available for third installments in Christmas franchises. However, it is a tradition to have Glass Half Full Moon on the show. And the last 2 times they were on the show, they were subjected to the absolutely dreadful experiences. I thought I'd pick a good movie.
Well, we had them on for the Krampus movies. Okay, we had them on for the Krampus movies. Okay, that was kind of bad.
That was a real test in our friendship. It's amazing they still speak.
Yeah, and then I threw Josh Kirby 3 at them because it was a Charles Band related film. So what if we did a whole found footage season?
I could do it.
That'd be. Would we get tired of it?
Almost certainly, but
by like the third episode,
isn't that part of what we're doing?
This is very true. Okay, so that was kind of your picks, and so would you like me to pick my top 3 out of your movies, or do you want to read mine first?
Sure, go ahead. Pick your top 3 out of my movies.
Out of those 3, Day of the Beast has got to be up there because that was a pretty cool movie. I probably should have prepped this before, huh? Let's go for Day of the Beast. I would say Ninja 3 was a good one. And, Sleepaway Camp 3 was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Oh, God, so was Basket Case 3. But no, I'll go Sleepaway Camp 3 over that. Yeah.
The ones I picked, Day of the Beast and Sleepaway Camp 3, definitely were up there in my favorites.
What was your third choice then of yours?
Of mine?
Yeah.
For favorite? Probably Mr. Vampire 3, just because I love everything to do with Mr. Vampire.
All right.
These movies are berserk. Let's talk about what you brought to the table this year.
I did some digging. I did some deep digging on this one.
Yeah, you did. Okay. First up, Nemesis 3. That was Pune, right?
That was Pune.
Okay.
Yeah, that was part of my
Uh,
universe that I pitched. That just never happened.
Yeah. Okay. So we got that one. That was a time travel robot movie, which was a little complicated because I was abducted by time traveling robots while you were doing the episode.
You didn't miss much. I mean, the episode, not the movie.
Then we did. Was It's Alive 3 really your next pick?
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to type these out in order. Yeah, It's Alive 3 was that was a weird movie.
It's a very strange film.
It was bad, but
Mm-hmm.
it was also it wasn't horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was there. It was just there.
Yeah. It's Alive 3. Yeah, again, that would have been the one I was joking about it being a men's rights movie.
Mhm.
But it's nothing compared to what Coffin Joe did, so I can't really harp on that too much. Holy God.
Coffin Joe was all pro women's rights. It's a fantastic phenomenon, if you will.
I don't know about making it a song about orgasms the joke for that movie.
Okay, yeah.
We're the worst pro Chapel Roan podcast.
Hey, we were way ahead on Chapel Roan before anyone else. Let me tell you.
I actually was.
Yeah, my little soap bros. I forget their names now. The gay couple that owns the soap I like to buy introduced me to Chapel Roan, and then I sent you a message, and I was like, okay, I heard this song. These guys told me to listen to it. It's really gay, but it's really good, and you should check it out. And you were like, I love that song. I was like, oh, okay.
It dropped in 2020 right before the pandemic.
Yeah,
and having it on the playlist for
like 3 weeks
4 years.
after we talked about it, she's like selling out stadiums everywhere. It's nuts.
It's crazy. She went from playing like rooms that are like as big as my house to like giant stadiums, like thousands of people. It's insane.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Okay. So what else?
You know what else is insane?
What?
Well, not Prom Night 3. Prom Night 3 was actually pretty pedestrian.
Yeah.
That was a strange one. So Prom Night 3 is a sequel to Prom Night 2, Hello Mary Lou, which is a sequel to Prom Night in name only.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Prom Night 2 is only a sequel in name, but Prom Night 3 is a direct sequel to Prom Night 2. And then I think Prom Night 4 doesn't have anything to do with either of it, right?
Probably not. No, I don't think it did.
That was okay.
Yeah.
I don't really think it was particularly stand out. The one that does stand out though is the next two. The next one you picked, or actually, you know what? You've got a good run of very memorable films here because the next one is Josh Kirby 3.
Yeah.
Which is a kids movie. It's from Full Moon that I think was designed as some sort of psychological torture. And then what definitely qualifies as torture under the Geneva Convention is Fred 3. I am lucky to still have ear after listening to Fred's voice.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, but that was a fun one to have my daughter on, and she hated that.
I was a great guest.
Yeah, and she was actually upset that she didn't get to come on for Zombies 3, the Disney musical.
How was she?
Yeah, but I told her we'll get her back next season.
We'll get her and Caitlin on.
Oh yeah. All very wildly different takes about why they enjoyed that movie. They'll both enjoy it, but for completely different reasons. Yeah. So that was a run. Josh Kirby, Fred 3, and then
Shark Attack 3, which is a fantastic movie about the importance of cunnilingus and megalodons.
Mm-hmm.
Death Toilet 3, which it exists.
It's a Death Toilet 3 is a 5-minute comedy skit stretched out to an 1.5 hour long movie.
Yeah, again, it really would have worked as about 5 minutes. I wouldn't have a problem with what it is, but the fact that there's no content, but it just keeps going over the span of an hour is shocking.
Yeah,
in a way, it feels almost violent.
Yeah, it was definitely an assault.
Other things, let's see, you did Cyborg Cop 3 is the next one.
Which did not feature a cyborg or a cop, so.
It wasn't the third movie.
Yeah. It was
Jack in the Box.
So it counts.
It's a part 3. Yeah. I'm just saying. Jack in the Box Rises. It's the third film in the Jack in the Box series.
Yeah, surprising. That was surprising to me. That actually wasn't terrible.
It was bad. No, I thought it was pretty good.
Could use some better death scenes, but overall, not bad.
Hotel Inferno 3.
Yes.
I didn't watch this one, but Gimcrack did, and he tells me it was a thing.
It was a fun movie, a first person shooter type thing about a guy going into hell and ripping the dicks off of crazy zombie chickens.
See, when you say it like that, it sounds almost good.
Yeah. I fucking ripped his dick off. Yeah,
And
see?
then we're right back. Howling 3, which may be one of the most insane movies I have ever fucking seen.
Yeah, that one it threw me for quite the loop.
It's not grounded at all in anything. It just it's just a different movie every 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Which wild.
Yeah, 3 werewolf movies in a trench coat.
Yes. And then Thanksgiving 3, which it's got an amazing opening.
Part 1 opened up almost the exact same with, I think, the same actress.
Oh, you mentioned that, yeah. I just like nice tits, but then in space.
Yeah.
It's in space that sells it.
Nice tits in space.
Sorry, it still kills me. And then you end it with Silent Night 3. And we did watch an extra movie beyond this, but
yes, it was one that neither of us picked, but it was a movie.
Yes, Satan did subject us to watch the Santa Claus 3.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
All right. So, best movies from your lineup. Obviously, Shark Attack 3.
Really?
You don't think so?
I know. It's your choice. No, I was literally taking a sip of beer and almost spit it out everywhere.
Let's see. I mean, I gotta give you Jack in the Box Rises one just for being like a surprisingly good movie.
Okay. Yeah, there's some stinkers in there.
It's almost like you pick movies in a desire to inflict pain on me.
No.
Actually, I'll go with The Howling 3.
Right.
Just because I've never seen anything quite like it. Compact disc.
Compact disc.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to go also with Howling 3, just because it was just a fun movie to watch because it was so insane. I really liked Thanksgiving 3. I really did. So I'm gonna have to go with that one myself. Then that third one's kind of a toss. Well, okay, maybe you weren't around for it, so maybe that's why you didn't pick it. But I would go with Hotel Inferno 3.
I'd beg to differ on the Hotel Inferno 3 pick. Why do you say, like you're surprised that I would speak up? You two have been sitting in the middle of my fucking lobby for, let's see here, 30 minutes now with microphones talking in my place of business. Again, this is like the third time you've just come to my video store to record, as if it's not a functioning video store.
Well, I mean, we didn't interrupt any customers, so I don't know how well it is functioning.
I've had enough about your sass.
Would you rather go back to watching movies about British hospitals with weird cyborg people doing backflips?
Oh, that was the other hotel movie. I've noticed a trend about the movies you bring me on for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you seem to like them. I like to take you out, let you visit things every once in a while, get a taste of the real world out there.
Live in an interdimensional video store. I can walk out the door and be anywhere in the world. What's interesting about that is I've gone everywhere in the world and I haven't found anyone who listens to your show.
Ouch, that kind of hurts. Well, maybe you're just talking to the wrong people here at Gimcrack. You ever think of that?
But, while we're here, you seem to get a lot of your material from my store.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense, cursed movies, cursed video store. But I've been looking at your tab here, and in the 3 years you've been doing the show, you haven't paid me.
Like the tab? Patrick, I thought we were doing cross promotion. Like we didn't have to pay for the movies because we plugged Gimcrack.
Well, I mean, I kind of assumed, like I winked and he didn't wink back, but I just thought that meant something.
Huh.
Again, the cross-promotion thing only works if you have listeners. So I can't just write these off. And I can't collect your souls because I already have those and they're not any good.
No, Satan doesn't want those anymore.
No, you've been banned from hell. So what are we going to do about this, guys?
I don't know. I don't know. We don't have any money to pay you, so... Whatever.
Oh,
We're just gonna. I guess we're just gonna keep on doing this.
No, I'm going to make some phone calls. I'll be back.
Who are you gonna call? Are you gonna call the devil? He doesn't want us.
Worse, my lawyer.
And we're back. So we kind of did a breakdown. We did like what we liked best out of each other. What was the worst movie that I picked for you this year that is not Coffin Joe 3? We're just gonna put that in the bucket.
Yeah.
No one watched Coffin Joe 3. Forget Embodiment of Evil exists outside of Embodiment of Evil. What was the worst thing I picked?
See, that's not fair because you had some actually okay ones.
This is the problem we get to every year. I don't think I'm mean enough.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I would probably go with Apocalypse 3. The
That's
VR goggle Satan was just a bizarre fucking movie. And it's not something I would ever watch again. A lot of these other ones I would watch again. That's not one.
I'm glad you wouldn't watch that one again. But please imagine growing up thinking that this was real. Or in some respect, it was the thing that is going to happen.
Yeah, that one, God, I'm sorry. and then how do I repay you? By making you watch fucking Josh Kirby 3. I'm a horrible friend. Good podcast co-host, horrible friend.
Josh Kirby 3, that was pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Death Toilet 3 is the worst. But Josh Kirby's pretty close.
What? What's the problem?
You know what? I take that back.
Yeah?
Fred 3.
Okay. Yeah, Fred 3 was really, really bad.
But Death Toilet 3 and Josh Kirby 3 are knocking on Fred's door.
Camp I want to pay.
Could you imagine if they like joined forces like the Legion of Doom? You have Josh Kirby, Fred, and Death Toilet.
Oh, God, that would be a hell of a movie.
No one would make it through alive.
I think why Fred 3 deserves to be picked as the worst is because it actually had actors. It actually had scripts. It actually had a production company. It actually had money.
And it's still Fred 3.
And it was still Fred 3. Whereas Death Toilet 3 had none of those things and still produced something. Josh Kirby had maybe half of those things and still produced nothing. So yeah, I think Fred 3 would be the winner.
It almost certainly gave some kid somewhere of a Raggedy Ann fetish that he has not figured out how to reconcile.
Why do I have a thing for gingers? Yeah, that was a very horny movie. It didn't need to be that horny.
It didn't need to be that horny. It's like a tagline on most of the movies we pick. Why is it got to be virgin piss in two separate movies, Dustin? One you picked and one I picked. Virgin piss was a thing in both of them.
Yes. Isn't that a new song, The Season of the Virgin Piss? Or am I hearing the wrong lyrics?
Well, it goes back to our focus group. We promised less bits, more piss. And
Right.
I think we delivered.
That's what they said worked. But we went back to bits and we took the piss out.
Jesus.
So that was it. I mean, that was our season. That was our season 3 of the podcast. Did you do so outside of the podcast? Were there any movies that you saw that you liked that you would enjoy watching and enjoy talking about? Except for that, we don't talk about those kind of movies.
Sure. So in the year 2024, I haven't had a chance to watch all of the horror movies that came out 2024 because it was a great year for horror.
Yeah.
And then also movies in general.
Or just any, yeah.
Horror specifically, Oddity was my favorite that I have seen so far. I need to see The Substance. I have not seen that.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen Strange Darling. But I really, really enjoyed Oddity quite a lot.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it's a little more acoustic, a little more subdued, but you know what it did? It felt like a Flanagan show.
Yeah, and it was beautiful. It was beautifully shot. It was just like a fantastic visual movie. So
I got to go back and check those out. And then, not related to 2024, I'll circle back, but in general, I went down a J-horror hole in the middle of October. So I watched the direct-to-video movies in the Ju-On series before The Grudge. So Ju-On The Curse were direct-to-video movies that came before the Grudge movies.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you have Ju-On The Grudge, the Ju-On The Curse and The Curse 2. And then you have the two Ju-On The Grudge movies. And they all kind of fit together.
All right.
But also, the guy who did Noroi The Curse, which is a found footage movie in Japan that's fantastic, has been making a low-budget direct-to-DVD series of films that are found footage movies, the conceit of which are they're paranormal investigators, and there's two of them, and one of them is like Zach Bagans on like amped up to 11. Like the guy tries to beat up ghosts with baseball bats and just wants to sell DVDs, and it does such insane things that you don't see coming. Now,
All right.
is it good?
Did we not get any sponsors for this one? Not even the made up ones? Oh god, that's an omen. And where did I put the information for that law firm? Ah, yes, here's the number. If you or a loved one are owed money by podcasters, call the law offices of Shyster, and Shyster now.
Is it worth watching? It's great. And then just in general in 2024, I saw The TV Glow is probably the best movie I have seen this year, and maybe one of the best movies I've ever seen.
All right.
Have you ever seen that one yet?
I have not.
It's pretty good. And then
I have not actually watched a lot of 2024 releases, oddly enough. The majority of movies I watched were all older just for the heck of it. I think the only thing I watched that wasn't for the podcast was 2024 was probably Oddity and Terrifier 3. Yeah, that was about it, really. I mean, I just spent most of my time watching just old ass ridiculous film. Did you hear about that movie? It's What's Inside.
It's What's Inside? I have not. What's that one?
I really want to check this one out because I heard it was pretty good. It was like people who go through like their group of friends get together to have a party or something like that, and then they all like start to like switch bodies or something weird.
That's a body switching movie?
I think so. Yeah, it's like a horror comedy.
Strange.
It sounds like a fun movie. And another one I want to check out that I have not seen a single person talking about was Mr. Crockett.
That was like a Hulu movie, though, right?
I think so. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I didn't watch that one just based on the fact that it seemed very familiar to every other creepypasta I've ever read. Like very Candle Cove, or that novel that came out a couple years ago, Mr. Magic. But like in the realm of creepypasta, No Sleep Stories, all that stuff. The idea of the evil children's show,
that's the one
everywhere, right? So Mr. Crockett is in that vein. I just didn't check it out yet. Is it worth watching?
I have no clue. We'll find out. Maybe I'll make you watch it next season. I don't know. Well, who knows? But yeah, so it was a year for old movies for me. That's kind of what I went through. And
I want to see Megalopolis. I have not watched it yet.
I watched the first 20 minutes of it right before this very podcast.
I am very interested into how bad it actually is.
It's just odd. Like,
I kind of thought that's really the vibe was going to end up being is more strange than bad in a way where you can reconcile it.
Yeah, it's definitely you want to like it more than you do. No. And that was just 20 minutes into it, where I was just like, oh, okay. I could see where it's going to go. And it was just like, oh, okay. But I will watch it all, and I will find out for myself, which we encourage all of our listeners to do. We may trash a movie, but we don't trash the artists behind the movie because, well, most of the time, sometimes we do, but most of the time we try not to.
You're writing checks we cannot cash with that one. You say that, and then you're gonna go back and listen to like the Zombie 3's Flash 4 episode, and you're like, oh,
okay. I think most of the people are dead anyway, so it's fine. But no, it's like some of these movies that we may have talked bad about. There's some bad movies out there, absolutely, but we do genuinely respect people that try to put their heart and soul into making something good, and we always appreciate that. And I love finding those kind of movies. So. To all of our listeners out there, if you've got something that you like, that you are like, oh, this is a movie that nobody's really talking about. It's not the greatest movie, but they really got heart behind it. Let us know. Come check out foundonshelfpod.com. And you can contact us and leave messages and all that fun stuff. And
I mean, if you're our listener, there's an overwhelming possibility you just have my phone number.
if you don't have his phone number and you want it, just let me know. I sent a text message to an old friend of mine that I hadn't talked to in probably 10 years. And I was like, is this still your number? He's like, yeah, what's up, Dustin? I was like, wow. And I've had my same number for, God, since like 98.
Phone numbers are people now.
They really are.
You get it, you park it, you're there.
Yeah, that's me.
Didn't watch a lot of movies. Did you watch Frankie Frico?
I have not watched Frankie Frico yet. I know you said it wasn't as good as you would hope.
I did not. I was a little disappointed with Frankie Frico just because I love that director's oeuvre. I love it's just The Void. Enter the Void's a different movie.
Yeah, Psycho Gorman.
Yeah, Psycho Gorman.
His Leprechaun movie was awesome.
His Leprechaun movie is fantastic. Frankie Frico. Which is a genius idea for a movie because it is based off of the Hotline commercial, 1-900-FREAK. And honestly, it's probably got made because that commercial went somewhat viral of a while back, right? It doesn't seem to really know what it wants to be because, like, for half the movie, is it trying to be like? Well, Psycho Gorman does this thing where it's like, what if it was a kids movie from the 90s but for adults?
Yeah,
this movie does that a little, but it does like 5 other things at the same time.
Yeah, all right.
It's weird, just because it doesn't seem like it commits to any one thing, but. The effects are good, and this is the end result is I love this guy's work. I love the puppetry.
I freaking love Psycho Gorman.
Here's movies that I need to finish watching for 2024. I need to watch Nosferatu because it's not out yet at the time of this recording. Cuckoo.
Mm-hmm. The movie that I want to watch is Stream.
Stream. I have not seen Stream.
That is, I remember seeing trailers for it a while ago with Jeffrey Combs, and it's like people that are staying in this house, and then there's like people that go in and try to kill everybody that lives in the house or something like that. I didn't quite. I try not to look at too many trailers and too much synopses because I like to just go into movies and just be like,
blind.
Let's see what happens. Yeah, trailers have just shown way too fucking much now.
They do, and I'm a person that likes to experience. I like the experience of the movie, so I kind of value. And you may be this person too. I value experience more than substance 9 out of 10 times in terms of my content.
Absolutely, like you have said many times, quality is not
a prerequisite.
It's not a prerequisite for us. It's just enjoyment, really.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get enjoyment off of bad things, and it happens.
Yeah. I need to see Trap. I need to see Azrael. I need to see the Salem's Lot remake and Alien Romulus.
I did see Alien Rubicon. It wasn't Romulus, but it was Rubicon.
I feel like that one doesn't count.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was a 2024 movie. It was a movie that was done by the Asylum and directed by a good friend of mine, Adrian Avila. So,
yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair enough.
Yeah. He didn't write it. He just directed it. So, just leave it at that. But yeah, so that was. God, what other? Okay, so I need to watch Megapolis, whatever the hell that movie is. I got to watch that. Got to watch Stream. Another movie I never got around to watching was Destroy All Neighbors. Yeah,
that looks like it's an interesting vibe.
Yeah. So I got to watch that. Plus, I love Alex Winter. So I got to check that one out. And like I mentioned earlier, It's What's Inside is on my list. The Substance, obviously, because that's just something you got to experience. And I think...
also the ultimate cut of Caligula that was re-released.
Of course you do. Of course you do. And I've also got to go start digging through Scarecrow Videos library. So for those that aren't familiar with Scarecrow, they're based in Seattle. It's a video rental store, and Patrick, you've been there to go see them. And
yeah, it was kind of like, I was going to say like a holy pilgrimage, but that seems insensitive. So it was definitely, it was an amazing experience. I love that store. It is my paradise.
Nice.
It is 2 stories of movies that are any movie you can think of in some of the best like arrangements. Like there's a psychotronic section You know, the subgenres get specific. The catalog is fantastic. The people there, you know, they care about movies, and it's really great. It's a great resource. If you're in the Seattle area, you should go. If you're not in the Seattle area, they do offer a rental program that you could get videos mailed to you.
Yeah.
And then I think it is important to say, though, that they are fundraising to help fund their experience, because, you know, rental stores are in short supply of popularity, but this particular store operates as a resource to,
and it's a nonprofit, I believe.
It's a nonprofit, and it's an archive of films, and it's important to preserve the films, not just in the video store experience, but also just being able to go and watch a lot of these movies that aren't in print or aren't available are there, and you can still see them. Right. So they are fundraising. I believe it's Save Our Scarecrow, but you can get to it through Scarecrow Video website. Go there if you have the extra time and money to donate. It would be fantastic. But also, if you're inclined to join their membership, I think it's a good experience. It's an amazing store.
Yes, the Found on Shelf podcast is a member of Scarecrow Video as well. So, you know,
you have money for Scarecrow Video, but not Gimcrack Video.
I thought you were on the phone.
I am so, what's the word? Peeved.
Are you trying to steal my title of King of Segways, Gimcrack?
King of Segways. I'm going back over our rental agreement. Do you remember our rental agreement you signed for your loyalty cards? You get the free movie every 10 rentals.
I was probably drunk when I signed it. I don't remember.
All right, so like,
was that one then when you made me like prick my finger and sign with my blood?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I can collect things of value to you besides monetary compensation, or in this case, in the event that your souls are, I don't want to say worthless, but, you know, worthless, an equivalent exchange of something that is precious to you. Under that purview, I'm just going to acquire your podcast.
You sure about that?
I can seize this as part of the assets, and I can control it. So, according to the terms and agreements of, let me just whip out this infernal contract right here. Now, you see,
this isn't a bit, is it? Because Patrick said no bits. Patrick, you told me no bits.
Well, we're bringing bits back, but I'm concerned about the fiery contract he's produced out of thin air.
That is concerning.
Yeah, so there's going to be some changes around here. Since you're, you know, just a new spin on the show, I feel as the new owner of the show, we could call it part of the Gimcrack network. What do we think? Found on Shelf, part of the Gimcrack podcasting network.
What's your other shows?
Just this one so far.
It's not much of a network.
Well, I've been debating starting like a true crime podcast. You know, maybe one of those fancy fiction podcasts. We'll get cutting edge with it. I haven't heard too many of those. It's not like that the market's been choked over 10 years of everyone producing as much content as possible, right?
Yeah. Maybe you do another podcast where it's just, you know, two guys talking about movies.
Yeah, well, that's the show. And the thing about it is, I'm thinking there's going to be some changes around here.
I'm not sure if I like the way that sounds. What kind of changes are we talking about? Can I quit the podcast? Is that possible?
Oh, you're not quitting before I do.
Well, I've been trying for 3 years and you haven't quit so far.
No, you're both bound to me and my servitude until I decide otherwise, or you repay your debt, which, you know, I don't think you're going to come up with the money.
How much money do we owe you anyway?
$30.03.
Shit, I don't got that. Patrick, you got that?
No, I work retail.
I got the 3 cents.
So what we're going to do here is, since you're in my store all of the time, we're just going to set up your recording studio in this space.
We kind of already have, so it works out pretty well.
We're going to move the TV trays and microphones you set up in the middle of my checkout line to the dark and dingy basement.
Oh, I mean, either way, we're not getting disturbed by customers, so.
Better acoustics.
Ah, all right.
A little bit more scheduled regularity, a little bit more quality control, things like that.
I guess it's not completely horrible. I mean, we still get to pick out the movies, right?
Yeah, because I'm really happy to finally be free of not having to pick a third movie.
Well, I think it'd really be more interesting if you didn't pick the films.
Well, then who would pick the films?
We're going to leave it up to fate.
Whose fate? Is that the name of the girl over there that was
This is a dramatic cliffhanger. You're jumping on my dramatic cliffhanger. There's going to be horror stings. It's going to cut to credits. Listen, if I'm going to be running the show right now, you're going to have to learn to take directions. I have the script. You're out here vamping like this is some sort of improvisational bit when I handed you a script an hour ago. This is already pre-planned. I don't
read those things ahead of time.
I'm going to go take a smoke break.
Do I still got my soundboard?
All right, who wants hot chocolate?
He doesn't actually smoke cigarettes. He just goes outside and bursts into flames. It's so fucking weird.
I mean, it is a smoke break.